Let's
destroy
this interview. So it took a while, but I'm so happy and excited that we're talking here. A lot of the audience know who you are because you're already a legend, but for the new audience, we need to explain that you started off with striking in Taekwondo, and then while you were training, you saw people grappling. So explain to me, what was that like, feeling like, hey, I'm a striker, but I see these people rolling around on the ground?
Yeah, as a kid, I always like kick, jump, like defensive stuff. And then, like I come from a small town, and then I always walk in my gym, to train Taekwondo, and then I see those guys kind of like doing rolls, like doing like a grab on the floor. And then I was interested, but I was like, I don't really think this is for me, I didn't, like enjoy watching, and then I never try it, even though they're like, man, come on, let's try, So my master in Jiu-Jitsu, in Taekwondo, he was a master in Jiu-Jitsu. He was already a coral belt back then, so I didn't know why I never took a chance to try, but as of watching, I never like it, so that's why I think I stick with Taekwondo for a long time.
And then when you decided to start, was it instantly, because a lot of white belts, they go, this ain't for me, but were you addicted right away?
Yeah, when I started, to be honest, it was an influence of one of my friends, because, like I was growing up and then, like building some muscles, like have a good physique, very athletic, And then my friend, he was telling me, you should fight, you should fight for live. I'm like, can we fight for live? And then they're like, man, yeah, some people is making money. And then, like I'll say, okay, let's see what I have to do. And then he's like, you have to train Jiu-Jitsu. He actually showed me some Vale Tudo, some MMA videos. And then at first, I was like, I know everybody was interested on Royce Gracie because he was a skinny guy, like being the big guys. I was more like interested on Victor Belfort, the jack-up guy.
Right.
And then like, like being a Jiu-Jitsu black belt, but being very good in striking. And then finish people in few seconds, So then my friend told me, but if you want to be good in this MMA, this Vale Tudo thing, you have to learn Jiu-Jitsu. So that's what, like I did, I'm like, okay, so now I'm going to try this. And then at first, I didn't really like it. I was not really good, but I believe that I have a heart, and then I did want to, like something deep inside me that was telling me, you have to do it, So I quit everything that I was doing, and then I jumped in, and then full force, 100%.
Now, you were very young when you decided to move away from your house. If you could elaborate on how old you were, and I think your dad even told you you'll be back in a week.
Exactly. Like I was very young actually, like I was just a teenager, I was like 15 years old. And then when I decided to make the move, I told my mom, and then she obviously was not very happy. But I think my dad, he was like, let's test him, let him go, and then see what he's capable. Like when I was about to leave my house, he shook my hands and he said, good luck. And then he looked at my mom, and then let's see, I think he'll be back in 2 weeks, maybe in a month. Like when he doesn't have like his clothes clean, food on the table, when his money is gone, he'll be back. And then I did want to go back. In like maybe less than that. In 3 days, I couldn't find a place to train. I couldn't meet the person that I was supposed to meet. I didn't know nobody, like I was pretty much like inside an apartment with my sister, live with other people that I didn't know, but I just remember my dad telling me that I was gonna go back in 2 weeks or so, and then I just suck it up, and then I said, no, I think I always have I have a pride, and then I think that's why my dad, he knew with me, and then that's why he told me. I don't think my dad wants me to go back. If he wants me to go back, he probably wouldn't say that. So he knew it how to challenge me and then make me stay, even though that he knew it's going to be hard. But I think he also knew that it was going to be the best thing for me.
So deep inside, you're thinking your dad actually was trying to push you to be a man at that point?
Yep, I think so. My dad has the same story. He left his house in very early age, started to work very early, quit school very early, and then still was able to, like raise a good family, and then provide us everything we need.
Now, this is something your wife was kind enough to share with me, and hopefully you can share with the audience. You don't use this as an excuse. And your wife tells me, no, Romulo's out of excuses. He doesn't like to do that. You have nerve damage. And a lot of people don't realize how, I have frozen shoulder right now, adhesive capsule. I can barely roll. So since you have nerve damage, you can barely raise it. Maybe you could share what happened with that process.
Well, when I was, I think, 24 years old, or, like 23, I don't know. I was pretty much getting my prime, like building my name. I hurt my shoulder pretty bad, like...
this is via Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, exactly. I was training, and then I shot for double leg, and then a big guy sprawl, and then my shoulder popped out, Since that day, my shoulder was never the same, it would pop it out during the training, and then got in a point that I couldn't wash my hair, like I could not reach on my head, like without like a pain. So I looked for a doctor, and then they all told me, oh, you need a surgeon. But it was in the middle of the, of the Jiu-Jitsu tournaments, I'm like, man, I don't want to do this now, I'm still able to train. So I took some cortisone shots, and then I pushed it through. So I was still able to win the worlds, and then got like a silver in the absolute. But then after that, I'm like, man, I have to, operate the shoulder and then fix it. Because I was still thinking about fight MMA, I was like, okay, now I'm world champion, it's time to jump in, and then, I don't know, I want to be a UFC champion. So I went back to Brazil, and then I did a surgery, I did the open surgery. So after a few weeks that I supposed to start to move my shoulder in the physical therapy, and one day I was laying down, and then my physical therapist told me oh, okay, raise your arm up. And then I'm trying my best, putting all my effort, and then my arm wouldn't move. So she asked me man, come on, you can do it, you're not gonna get hurt. And I said, I can't. So she did some, some exams. She put the tense on my shoulder. I wouldn't feel anything. She would touch it, I wouldn't feel anything. So then they sent me to do a nerve test. And then I did, and then the doctor just told me, yeah, your nerve is pretty much gone, and then I don't think you ever be able to fight again. I don't think you ever gonna have movement on your arm. So basically that's something that I hear. My wife, Janaína, she was always by my side. She was freaking out, And then because she knew it, how much I wanted this. And then for me, I never freak out, I just look on the guy, and then I'm like, I think this guy is just crazy. I don't believe what he's saying, And then he looked at me, and then he's like, yeah, but I don't think I felt sorry for myself, I just thought about you know what? It's gonna be one way or another way. If I can't move my shoulder, I'm gonna do it either way. So I'm gonna just tie my shoulder on my belt, and I'm gonna keep doing. I'm not gonna stop to do something that I love because of an arm. And then, but inside me, I believe that I'll find a way. And then I did find a way, So I compete my whole black belt career with
nerve damage.
With nerve damage, with one arm and a half maybe. I have no movement on my right shoulder. I have maybe 20% power, maybe 20% flexibility, Nobody knows I can fake pretty well,
Yeah, because you're relying on the mats, man. And
I believe
that case.
I believe Jiu-Jitsu is something that you adapt. You can adapt. I learned that, and then my mind it worked the way that I just need a little bit of my shoulder. I don't need it all. Now when I look back, and then if I have to go back, and then I wouldn't change anything. This is built who I am today. This is just proof that whatever happened, I can find a way to get back up and then do what I do. It doesn't matter what it is. I have been through so much stuff besides injury, but that taught me so much about don't giving up, don't quit, no matter of a circumstance. If my family is healthy, I can take anything, no problem.
Now, a lot of people don't even know this part. You had to sell a car.
Yep.
It was either physical therapy,
yeah,
sell the vehicle.
I always invest on my career. I was never a big fan of buying stuff, material stuff, I'll make some money, let's buy nice clothes. I didn't really care about clothes, shoes, jewelry. Never did care about this, Every money that I have, I invest in my career to make me better. So when I make my first money, I was already like, I don't know, 24 years old, black belt world champion, and then I'm like, I need a car to drive around. So I bought my car. But then when I got hurt, I was not working, I couldn't compete, I couldn't teach a seminar, I have no way to make money. And then I have to reinvest in my career. So I sold my car, and then I put all the money that I have on my car to my treatments, you know. So I traveled the world to treat my shoulder. I went to different countries, find different doctors, until I find someone that could fix it, or at least get me back in a competition. So, you know, whatever it takes. That's what it was my mindset back then. Whatever it takes to accomplish my goals.
You have to control me. Try to close your guard again. Try to shrink out. The other way, the other way. Now creating space, close again. Yes, now you get a better control. Now look, you're controlling my posture. You have a good position. Hand very deep on the collar. So look, my arm is outside. If I'm trying to get this arm inside here, you can use the free arm to push my arm here. Boom. Yes, now climb your leg goes over my shoulder. Nice. Now look, you have a double attack. So if you want to attack me here, you keep this hand on the collar. I just adjust this leg a little higher. Now threat me with the choke here. This hand here threat me with the choke. Because now, I'm not here because you're pulling me. So when I knew go extend here, armbar is here too. So look, go the choke.
Do I go like this? Or
You know,
just
from
here?
the choke, like from here,
Okay.
you already here, right? You're doing the attack. And then I'm like, I'm feeling that I'm getting choked. If I stay, you want to close, break my posture, pulling me, right? For the choke. Now, I'm like, if I survive the choke, I'm trying to posture up. From here, just pass your leg over, this one here. And then now look, armbar is right here.
Okay.
You know? So especially like from the close guard, you have like, when you recover your guard, your hand was so deep on my collar here. You recover from here, I'm in danger here. So what I try to do like palm with my hand inside and then try to posture up. When I do that, boom, pop and climb. Not like, see my elbow is outside. Just like my shoulder, just like my elbow, just pass a little bit of your chest line here. And then now you climb. Yes, perfect.
Okay.
So now like I'm gonna try to defend, but now I expose my neck. Now I wanna push back. Boom, armbar.
Okay.
It's like
cool.
one of like a very basic and then an old school double attack from the close guard.
Okay. Can we keep rolling?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
2 minutes?
Let's go.
So we're gaining a mindset of how you are with your physicality and your drive. So now you choose to migrate to the US. And I don't want it to be political, but you were training at another gym. And this is a big lesson for everyone who wants to open up their own gym. And there came a point where you were supposed to be partnered. And then because nothing was signed, what was going through your mind then when people are like, okay, well, you're on your own?
You know, like for a period of time, I was a little bit hurt by the situation because when I trust people, you know what I mean? But also, I believe that you get to what you deserve. In that point, I was doing everything right. And then when that happened, and then my wife was just got here, and then I have nothing, I have no car, I have no place to live. I was thinking with me, why this happened? You know, what reason? I did nothing wrong. But then, when I really going deep to my thoughts, and then I was not doing anything wrong, I just relax. You know, I relax, I forgive whatever did that. And then I just said to myself, you know, just keep doing the right thing, and then things is gonna change, things is gonna get better too. But you know, I learned a lesson. At the same time, I never change. I still trust people. I still will do the same. Because again, I'm a believer, get to what you deserve. So after that, my life just got better, you know. I won every single championship that even possible to win. I built up like not one gym, but like many. I have like many world champions. I changed like thousands of people's life. You know, so that showed me that you can do the right thing, not try to step above no one's, and then you'll be successful. It's just hard work and dedication, and then be honest to yourself, be honest to the other people, and then forgive. I'm not God to not forgive people, you know. If somebody did something to me, I'm not gonna hold him back in my heart and then have this toxin inside me, you know. So I don't really care, you know. I just actually thank whoever was involved to show me that even though that you can be as high as you can, and then you can drop down and then raise up, you know. So it did really affect me. It helped me grow.
And there was actually like an angel type figure that helped you out and your wife, right? Someone who helped house you guys for a little bit.
Yeah, you know, like it was the first day that happened actually, you know, like my friend, business partner, Jason, he came up to me. We barely spoke, you know, like back then, you know. I was just teaching him, hanging out a little bit, you know. And then when that happened, he came into my apartment and what's happening, your picture not on the gym no more. You took your stuff off your locker, you know, like you have a surgery, what's gonna happen? Where are you going? You know, like I'm like, it's okay, man, I'm gonna figure it out, you know. And then he didn't even tell me, he told my wife, you know, whatever you guys need. If you guys need $1 million now, I can give to you guys. And then obviously I was just like going through something, you know, very hard to trust people, just like right on the second, and I was like, I don't know about that, you know. I think it's better you go back to Brazil, told my wife, and then I'll get things together here. I'll go teach some seminars, you know, raise some money, change my visa to another, you know, company, and then you come back. And then she's like, no, I don't want to go back. I want to stay, you know, whatever it takes. Whatever you need to live with a bedroom, it's okay. I don't care. So then, you know, like we talking to Jason, and then he just like, I have a house. My wife is in Africa doing a social project there, you know, helping people. You guys can stay with me, have a room, have a car for you guys. And then we stay with him for like a year. We build a gym. He's the kids program professor here, teach over like 400 kids. You know, like he helped me. I helped him. I gave him a purpose on his life. And then that's why he wants to give it back to me and then follow the path. That's what I believe, you know. Now I think he's someone that's really proud of what we have built, what he has built. So, like I said, you do good things will come back to you.
When we finally were like, we're gonna do this, okay, let's figure out the steps and like come up with a business plan and, you know, do everything that we need to do to take the next steps. The next decision was I was like, well, maybe you guys should come live with me in the time that we're looking for a gym, because I know it can take time. You know, it can take a lot of time. You know, not something that can just happen in a matter of months. You know, and as opposed to like spending money, wasting money on an apartment for, you know, Romulo and Janaína, I was like, you guys should just, you know, just live with me. Like, that's not going to be a problem, you know, and then that way we can figure things out together. And I can remember instances of like for some examples, like in the mornings, Romulo I'd hear some like, you know, like some chitter chatter, you know, going on in the kitchen, and it's like 5:30 in the morning, and I know he's trying to be as quiet as he can, you know, and be respectful and everything. I'm like, wow, is he really up this early? Like, and this was like an everyday thing. You could see the gears already start turning, whether it's, you know, like jiu-jitsu related or something, you know. You get his coffee and, you know, get his breakfast and everything, and then I think he'd get ready for like the first workout of the day or something, you know. And like me as a normal person, I'm used to just, you know, maybe work out a few times a week, you know, this and that, and this was like an everyday thing. And then eventually it got to be like, you know, Romulo would be like, hey, let's go work out, Jay. So I'd start going with him, and he'd push me, and, you know, and I'd start going along with him. We'd go to the LA Fitness or wherever and work out and everything. So, you know, it was for those types of things. I'm grateful, like, you know, for what he's, you know, showed me, like a way to be, you know, like just to live your life and like push yourself. And, you know, like he had shown me things that I hadn't, you know, had thought of, you know, that I could do or, you know, was in me, you know, before. So, and same thing with Janaína as well. She was the same way, you know, like, so. She'd work out with us too. Like she would go, you know, like, hey, let's go work out this, and to healthy lifestyle eating, like, you know, they ate very healthy, and like that stuff rubbed off on me, like, you know, a bunch of different examples, you know, like go to bed early and, you know, like just take care of yourself and stuff like that, like work hard, train hard. And then while we were looking for the gym, we would, one of the students, the gym in Encino, he had opened up his doors. He owned a private fitness studio in Encino with a little bit of small mat space. So there'd be like 15 of us that had stayed with, you know, with Romulo, would train there, and we would get up, go work out, and then go train for the first jiu-jitsu training of the day, like noon, and then go back home, and then we go back for the evening training. So like, you know, I wasn't used to this type of, you know, like training regimen, like, you know, that he was doing. So I loved it. Like I felt, you know, like I'm like, wow, this is great. Like look forward to training 2-3 times a day and things like that. So yeah, he rubbed off on me a lot, like in positive, you know, in positive ways.
What's the balance like between your strength as a person and how much has jiu-jitsu helped you go through all this strife and then
100%. Well, I think I learned everything in jiu-jitsu. I learned to survive with jiu-jitsu, you know, because I have a dream, and then I need to, very young age, like learn how to deal with struggling. You know, it's not like nowadays you want to be a champion in jiu-jitsu. You see guys with cars, with house, making money, you know, living in another country, travel the world. Back then, there's nothing. You know what I mean? That's like a no belief. You know, like you do jiu-jitsu, you're nobody, you know, like nobody care. You're just a bad person that wants to fight, you know. So I learned the struggles of jiu-jitsu, you know. Like I always think like somebody's choking me, I have to defend, you know. I'm in a bad situation, I have to escape. So every single thing that I do in my life, my daily basis, is trusting the process of the jiu-jitsu. I'm a methodic person. If I'm gonna go put the dish on the wash machine, I have a method, I have a system. If I wake up, I go to another country, I go to Singapore the next week, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna build up a routine, a system of wake up, go to sleep, time to eat, time to train, time to teach, time to call my family. You know, like exactly the way that I do jiu-jitsu. I just think sometimes I even make jokes with my wife when she tried to open something and she put all the effort. Do this, and then I just grab it. It's like, oh, but you're way strong. No, it's not power. It's a waste. Technique, you know. So I'm always, in jiu-jitsu, you want to be effortless. Right? So in everything that happens, I want to be effortless. But if you struggle, you know that it won't be effortless, right? So then you have to create something deep inside your heart to raise up, you know. So to be honest with you, every single thing that I do, at first on the back of my head, I'm thinking as I'm doing jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
It's all tied to it. Huh?
Only people that being on my spot, and then guys probably that you talk about will have the same, you know. People that probably watch will be like, what is this guy talking about? Until they involve with this. And then they will see the huge difference on their life.
How many percent is this? 5%?
Honestly?
Yeah. 0?
10%.
Feels like a refrigerator on top of me.
10%, I'm a half boy. I'm not getting out from here. You're gonna have to escape, Charlie. It's all about frames. Create the space. Yes, that's better. That's better. Okay, frame pommel inside this arm here. Pommel here. I don't have a good head control. This arm pommel inside. Control my biceps.
Here.
Yeah, so now look, I'm losing the head control. Okay. Now you have more hip mobility in head. So if you face that way, yes. Now look, your knee here. That's it. Now you can feel legs. Move a little here. So
can I experience a triangle on this arm?
which arm?
This one.
This one? Okay.
This one's the injured shoulder.
Okay. I'll try. I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you which triangle will be then.
Oh, okay.
Like that move. That's a good one.
Windshield. Dude, I was watching you earlier, and I'm like, is Romulo training for a competition, or is it his students? And you were still going really hard. Why is that?
Man, you know, like, I love this, you know. I do this every single day of my life, like, since I decided to do that. When I'm hurt, I'm here. If I'm sick, I'm here. If I don't sleep, I'm here. If I just get back and travel, I'm here. You know what I mean? This is just like, it's just who I am, you know? It's like training every day, it's like, it's making me alive. It's making me young, you know? It's very hard to actually put in the words because, you know, like, I'll finish training, I'm already thinking about the next day, you know? I'm thinking about how can I get better? How can I improve? How can I give it back to my students? How can I learn something new? You know, like, I'm a study of the game, you know? If something changes, people doing more no-gi now, I trust I'm doing more no-gi. So, like, if I'm not good at something, let me try to improve, you know? It's just like I have an addiction in something that's actually good for you.
Right, keeps you healthy.
Exactly.
Keeps you strong.
Yeah. You know, so it's, I have to do this every day, you know? Every single day I have to have my time on the mats, you know? Time that my mind is clear. It's nothing inside my mind, you know, like I'm just going with the flow. I'm just going with the rhythm of the breathing, you know, like I'm just going with like looking for grips, you know. It's almost like the Matrix movie that you see things like it's not in slow motion, you know. So that's like when I'm training, you know, like I'm in a different world.
You know, I heard a lot of technical talk that you guys had with your students. What's the major difference between a black belt who competes versus a regular black belt who just does this for a hobby but happen to earn it?
You know, a black belt that competes, like a competition, it builds up a lot of pressure, right? They build up like, you want to be the best. You want to be better to the other people. You want to be the best version of you every day, right? That, it build also, it can build a lot of toxins, you know, like you a different person. You know, like I'm a different person when I'm competing. You know, like, it was very hard for me to actually be a competitor and be a father and be a husband because, you know, like, one of the main reasons that I do like less competitions because when I have a competition, my personality changes. I'm quieter, you know, I don't talk so much. I'm always thinking about competing, the fight, you know, I'm always like, want to do things to myself, which is selfish. Being a competitor is selfish. You want to do things for you. You don't care about what's happening around you. So being a black belt as a lifestyle, you're a happy person. You're giving back. You're teaching. You train. If you give your place for someone, if somebody's sitting, you know, like you can stop in the middle of the roll and then teach a technique. You know, like, oh, what you did here, and then discuss, you know. I think it's more enjoyable. Like when you actually, Jiu-Jitsu black belt, talking about not as a level of technique, talking about more as personality. You know, I think talking about as a level of competition of technique, that's no secret, you know. Like if you're a professional basketball player, if you're Kobe Bryant, and then you just play basketball on the weekends, that's the difference, you know. It's the same thing in Jiu-Jitsu. You know, like obviously a competitor, world-class competitor, it's like technique-wise, physically, preparation, you'll be much better than a regular black belt, you know. But I think a regular black belt, it's actually when it comes off the Jiu-Jitsu lifestyle way more, you know.
Like the soulful
guy. Chill, relax, right. You know. You're always happy, always smile, you know, always helping people around you. I'm talking about myself, you know, as a competitor, and then when I'm just teaching, you know. I'm two different people, two different persons, you know. Like, completely different, you know. So like when I'm competing, I don't even know what's happening around me, you know. So it's just like grinding every second of the day. So I enjoy more now be just a regular black belt.
Right. Were you as angry when you were training in MMA?
Yeah, I was mean. I want to hurt people. You know, if you MMA fighter, it's you want to hurt other people. It's like, that's how I actually, you know, like my first years in Jiu-Jitsu, I don't want to just, I want to hurt people. I want to like break the arm, break the legs, you know. Until like my mindset changed, you know, this is a sport, you know, like I want to win. But when I was young, no, I want to like a soccer kick the person on the face on the ground and then step on the face, I want to send them to the hospital. That's what I think, That's the way that I grew up thinking, that people's telling me, because they're going to try to do that to you. So it's a different environment. It's a different, way to do it.
You rear naked choked two of your opponents.
Mm-hmm.
Did training in MMA help your jiu-jitsu, or are they so different?
I don't know, I was doing both, honestly, my first, until like a brown belt, I was doing jiu-jitsu pretty much for fight, MMA, It was very hard back then because I have a line of people in the front of me that wants to fight, I have to wait too long, Something that cooled me down a little bit, but I don't know if they help me. I don't think they help. My jiu-jitsu, not really, I don't think so.
Do you think can you tell right away, even though if they're wearing a gi, oh, this is an MMA grappling style, when you roll with someone?
Not with the gi, but no gi, yes.
You can tell the difference with the no gi.
Yeah. When I was grappling with no gi back then, I never grappled. Honestly, now it's new for me actually grappling no gi, only no gi. Back then, I only grappled no gi for fight. So I was grappling, I was intention to punch the guy if I'm on top position. If I'm on bottom, I'm intention to defend, not only submit or finish the person. It was it was different, Like now, it's a no-gi grappling, it's a gi jiu-jitsu, and then there is a MMA jiu-jitsu. It's completely different, you know what I mean? If you think about let me train some jiu-jitsu and then go fight MMA, you're gonna get smashed, because everybody knows jiu-jitsu nowadays. You have to train specific for MMA. So that's what I was doing back then. I was training jiu-jitsu no-gi for specific MMA, not to compete in a no-gi competition or anything like that, But with the gi, I was very aware about just training and then improve my technique, timing, takedowns, sweeps, points, submissions. I never thought about I'm punching the person from here, this situation, or,
Hey, remember earlier you were talking about the difference between if someone just trains in no-gi and they go to the gi world, it's way more different than a gi person going to no gi. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think so, now things are changing. It's become two different sports, Like a gi versus no gi. Even now that no gi it's very popular, still the gi jiu-jitsu guys win the most. If you see ADCC, 60 kilos, gi guy won. 77 kilos, gi guy won. 88 kilos, a gi guy won. 99 kilos, only no gi guy. Plus 99, gi guy won. Now, imagine if you take this different. The same guys fight with the gi. They will be completely different. The no gi guys, they want to win. Probably not even a match. Because they're not used to the grips, they're not used to the game, it's very different. But the guys, they won with the gi. It's proof. They took the gi, they trained for 2 months, and then they won ADCC. But that will change, because now it's guys that just the best no-gi guy right now, he only trains no-gi. He never puts the gi on. He's a smart guy. He's not going to mix it up, because he knows if he mix it up, he won't be as good as he is right now. None of the jiu-jitsu guys, gi and no-gi, are very good at no-gi. They're just very good competitors. And then they transfer a little bit of the gi techniques to no-gi, and then they manage to win. But when the guys start to be more guys, like Gordon Ryan, for example, they just train no-gi 5 years, 6 years, then it's going to be very hard also for the gi guys to win no-gi.
So if someone were to start in jiu-jitsu, would you recommend gi first, always?
Before I would say that, but now I changed my mind. Now they can choose, because like I said, the jiu-jitsu is changing. It's become 2 different sports. You know what I mean? So now the guy can pick it, start no-gi or start gi. You can always do both, which I recommend, do both. It's the way that you earn more respect, So you're good at no-gi and then you're good in the gi. You're just good at no-gi. Okay, good, but not so good, So we respect to on your no-gi, but, you know, so like, it's always gonna be that question. You know?
Right.
So you should train both, gi and no-gi.
How many percent was that? Keep rolling with that last 2 minutes. How many percent was that when you roll with like a private or like a white belt like me? 5%?
You know, like I have to be able to, you know, like I wouldn't tap you if you don't ask, you know? Like, but my job is to give you the role that
Right.
you get a good workout and learn, and then I get a good workout too.
So shoot down to my level.
Yeah, it's
at
not
least.
exactly. I'm like, I cannot like. It's not about the percentage, to be honest with you. You know, it's about how to learn, how to train with anybody. What doesn't matter the belt, the size, the age. You know, like it doesn't matter. You have to know. You know, as a good black belt, I have to like give you. If you're gonna roll for like 10 minutes, I have to give you a good roll, the way that you're gonna improve, and then I'm gonna improve. You know what I mean? It's not about like I'm letting you do stuff. You know what I mean? It's more like about like, okay, let me give him this position, see how you're gonna deal with this position.
Okay, I see.
You know what I mean? And then okay, so then you start to like kind of like increase and then improve your position. Then I make a bit hard for you. You know what I mean? So then okay, so he got better here now. So now let's see next move. I tried one move and then I attack you, for example, in a sweep, and then you didn't know how to defend, right? So then okay, I come back on the same sweep, then I attack you again to see how it will be, or if you're gonna do the same reaction or if you're gonna change your reaction.
Everyday Pojada. What made you start it and what is it?
Well, you know, like, there is nothing like they make me start, you know, it was very random actually. But I knew it, that I was gonna do something bigger than competition, bigger than what I was doing in Jiu-Jitsu. I just didn't know what it was, you know. So the way that actually started, it was 2018 after one of my match in ACB. It's like this big event, super fights, and then I beat this young guy. And then the guy asked me, Robert Drysdale, he was interviewing me after the fight, he's like, what's your secret? And then I said, there is no secret, train hard everyday porrada. And then just became viral next day. People talking about everyday porrada, hashtag everyday porrada. And then I'm like, then I begin to see something on that, you know, like I see opportunity of like give it back to the community, like give it back, like show them with the hard work they can accomplish their dreams. So then we become to like really focus on, you know, like marketing the everyday porrada movement, which was, you know, work hard, you know, like don't look back, you know, like don't cheat yourself, don't just pretend, don't fake until you make it, and then you know, sooner or later you're gonna accomplish your goal. Same thing that I did, same thing that many of, you know, like of us do on a daily basis. So then, man, the thing became huge, you know, like it's all over the place now, every country. He talk about everyday porrada. We're just about to launch our everyday porrada foundation that we can actually really give it back. Like I have tons of people ask me like, oh, can you sponsor me? Everyday porrada doesn't sponsor nobody. Everyday porrada give it back to those who actually put in their work and then trying to make a dream come true and then need an extra push. Always when everyday porrada sponsors somebody, not sponsor, but like when we do a push on someone, we have to actually know the story of the people. Like if you're gonna work with everyday porrada, for example, we have to actually have an interview and sit, and then you have to prove to me that you actually are everyday porrada. You know, like I have to know, can I work with everyday porrada? Can I represent everyday porrada in this place? That's not like that, you know.
It's earned.
You have to earn, you know, if you wanna like represent everyday porrada, work for everyday porrada, have like a patch. Oh, can you give me a patch of everyday porrada shirt? No, I don't give shirts. I don't give like a patch, you know, like to put in your gear unless you deserve, you know. So it's not about the money. It's not about fame. It's just about motivate people. We live in a place right now that is so much complaint, so much of like, this or that, you know, like so much excuse, and then it's a time with so much more opportunities. If you can put the everyday porrada together, you can accomplish anything you want. So, you know, like I believe they came up in a very good timing, and then we're just getting started, you know. Like I said, you know, as the Everyday Porrada Foundation Lounge, then the sky is the limit. You're gonna make this huge, bigger than Live Strong. So that's the future for Everyday Porrada.
I'm gonna make a statement and I want you to react to it. If you didn't go through all this pain, Everyday Porrada wouldn't exist.
No. Not ever exist. Like I have so many people like try to copy the Everyday Porrada, create something similar, and then none of them work. The reason why, because this is a life story behind. You know what I mean? It's a mean to happen. You know, like a lot of people like say that happened like 2018, after the interview, and then I took advantage. No, this is a project that was inside me. I didn't know how to put it out. You know, so I have this coin, no excuse, all day, every day, that I made this like probably like 10 years ago. We make for the gym, and then, you know, like Jason, he kind of like a gift for some kids. And then, but for me, in 10 years, I only have gave five coins, you know. So I still have in my locker.
It's like Jiujitsu Bitcoin, huh?
Yeah, it's exactly. So it's, if you get like one of this coin from me, you know, like the guys that actually have this coin, they proud. You know, like they're like, I get the coin. You know, so Janaína just got her coin like I think last year, a few months ago. You know, like I'm like, now you have the coin. You know, like even my wife, you know, like I don't just, you know, like give it. It's earned. So this has become a long time ago, you know. So like people ask me how long you train, how many hours you train a day when I was a competitor, active. I don't count hours. I don't count train sessions. How many times you train a day? All day. That's it. Even when I'm not training, I'm training. When I'm home, I'm studying Jiu-Jitsu. If I'm not home, I'm in the gym, working out. If I'm not in the gym, I'm running. If I'm not running, I'm training. So it's like I train once a day, all day.
Why do you think with certain athletes like Floyd Mayweather, he comes from nothing, Manny Pacquiao came from nothing, and there's people like you, Professor Vieira, Professor Jean-Jacques Machado, all came from nothing, but you guys are at this legend status. Why is that, do you feel?
I think the desire is bigger when you don't have nothing. You want something. You know, like you want to accomplish something, and then, you know, like something that you never have it, and then, you know, like you're going to outwork everybody. You know what I mean? So, and then until you make it happen. You know, like I know people that have a lot, and then they're still able to accomplish things, you know.
Sure.
Like world champions. There are guys in Jiu-Jitsu, they rich, I know.
BJ Penn's one of them?
I have friends, you know, like they come from a wealthy family. The gym that I used to train in Brazil, it was only rich guys. I have like my friends, they 18 years old, they have like import cars in Brazil. When they turn 18, they get the present for the parents. But I don't know where they are right now. I don't know. Maybe they back in Brazil, live with their parents, you know.
Right.
So I'm here helping my parents. I'm here by myself, build my family, everything through me. Which one is better? Like get something from your family or build on your own? How are you gonna feel that you earn it, you know? So I'm glad my family support me with love and push and believe without support me with money. Maybe I wouldn't be here, maybe you wouldn't be interviewing me, you know? And then, you know, like the desire is different. For a fight, 90% of us don't have nothing. You know, in boxing, if you go in boxing, probably like 99% of them, you know, they come from nothing, you know. And then you want something, then you fight for. You know, that's the only thing that you know how to do. Obviously in Jiu-Jitsu, I learn a lot, you know. I'm like, you you know, like I'm not the same person that I was, like I become smart, I become a businessman, you know, I learned how to actually use like the Jiujitsu to have different incomes, you know, like, but pretty much everything in my own, you know, so, but the huge difference is the desire, you know what I mean? Like when you have everything, you know, like you want to win some gold medals, but for what? You know, it was not about the medals for me. Never, you know, like you see here, there's no medals, you see? There is no pictures hanging here of me winning. You don't see saying here like a world champion. We don't even talk about this here in this interview because that doesn't mean nothing for me. It was not about that. You know, like it was about to make something happen that nobody could imagine the way that it started, you know. So obviously, back then I didn't know that, but now I know. Now I can transfer this to other people when they start. Like now it's very hard for me because, to be honest with you, sometimes I joke, it's hard to see like the same breed that I came from. You know what I mean? So sometimes I start to lose a passion for competition, for teaching, for like, you know, because a lot of complaints, a lot of politics, faking to make it, social media, pretend that you're famous and then you're nobody. It's making me lose the passion of like change people's life and make them better, you know. So when I see someone that's same breed, then I focus on them, you know. Then I push them to be like someone, you know, better than me.
And that's what we see here at the academy. I mean, you have such a full space when it comes to children. Really intense no-gi. It's the most intense out of a BJJ school that I've seen. And you know, it's very astute and knowledgeable as far as for like the gi stuff. I see the calculus. They're working through a math. Mm-hmm. So definitely well appreciate the interview.
Thank you. My pleasure.